Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh and Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. May Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's peace be bestowed unto you, hopefully elect. I'm your brother Yahweh Call from Great Millstone, Orlando. For whatever reason, because I wanted the precepts that I'm going to bring out, I was initially going to do this video as a response to Apostle Tahar's video that he did sometime last week. Just going into, it's a short video, just going into how basically, in not so many words, that the fact that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is putting a real manly spirit back on the earth. Now, although dealing with 2/3, because that energy, which is all the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, but it's cold because when you go into that, the Holy Spirit, one of the definitions that it'll tell you is imparting a warlike energy. All right. There's a lot of definitions, but that one stands out to me the most, because even amongst brothers, because we hear it all the time. Why are you so angry? And, and brothers being the spirit. But like I said, one of my favorite definitions is that imparting warlike energy. You see, so with that being said, again, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is getting ready to turn up what's already bestowed in us. All right. But likewise, the 2/3 as well. Now, although again, that energy is going to be geared in wickedness. All right. Like it says in Isaiah, roughly paraphrasing, Jake is going to be a terror. So the Lord is going to turn the spirit up in 2/3 as well. But to those of us on the path of being the hopeful elect, all right, obviously it's going to be directed in righteousness. All the built-in frustration and tension. Brothers walking around with all this highest testosterone and whatnot. There's nothing but that power that's building up, built-in power. And of course, it's just a matter of time before, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai lets his men loose. It's just a matter of time. All right. Fishers turn hunters. All right. The Lord is getting ready to turn his men up. Now, like I said, I was going to initially for whatever reason, because I updated this phone over the weekend and it's been giving me pure hell. So for whatever reason, I actually did start a live, but for whatever reason, dealing with this update, like I said, this phone has just been giving me pure hell. So with that being said, because this was off the response of the Apostle Tahar's video, all right, the Lord really putting that manly spirit back on the earth. What was I going to get in Judges? You see, these people, they're not used to that spirit, all right, especially a manly spirit, because that's one thing about Esau Edom. He's preyed off of the confidence of the Israelite man. So a man that an Israelite man that has his confidence, all right, because even 2/3, they have a certain level of confidence, but it's more so proud. Jake is just proud. But even with that being said, just in general, well, especially when it comes to an Israelite man, all right, this world they're not used to that, which is the spirit of Yahweh Shai. This world rejects Yahweh Shai. All right. And they're not used to that spirit, they're not used to that warlike energy. You see, but too bad for them, because this is going to be the new normal. As the scriptures say, the saints of the kingdom shall take it by violence, shall take it the saints shall take the kingdom. Slakia, the saints shall take the kingdom. Right, and that's no easy picking. All right, the kingdom of heaven in itself is going to be a real manly, masculine kingdom environment. All right. So with that being said, hey, to these people, man, you just get ready. All right. Let's get this in Judges 14 and in 19. Because again, man, that this is something that's already in us. It's just a matter of Yahweh Shema Shai turning that dial up. All right, turning the dial up more and more. Brothers are increasing in the spirit, growing in the spirit, and things of that nature. This thing of ours is only going to transition from glory to glory. All right, from faith to faith. You see, and as I always say, man, the Lord has us right where He wants us. Because when it's all said and done, hey, fishers turn hunters, man. Hey, you people better stay the hell out of a man of the Lord's way, man, in that day, man. Because, boy, the Lord left it up to us now. And saying that, this is why we don't have the power now. Well, to that level, because we have the power. But it's just not to that level. Judges 14 and 19. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he went down. And he went down to Ashkelon and slew 30 men of them, and took their spoil and gave the change of garments unto them which expounded the riddle. And his anger was kindled, and he went up to his father's house. So this is just one of many accounts, because there's been times, excuse me, it's just such as Samson, and just other times in our history where Yahweh Basham Shai, he turned the dial up, and then he turned it off, so to say. Because ultimately the will of the Lord has to be performed. And I would imagine even during Jacob's trouble, there's gonna be times when the Lord's going to turn brothers up, and He's going to, so to say, flip that switch off. Because we, for the most part, can't just be all power straight through. Or else how else is the Lord going to work, do His thing. So there's gonna be times where brothers get that power, the Lord's gonna turn that dial up, and He's gonna turn it off, make us regular again. But nevertheless, man, the Lord turning that spirit up, man, and this is something that people are seeing more and more. And this is why I make it a point, when you're walking down the street, man, and you just you're walking down the street, man, and especially when it comes to Esau, because Jake, man, that trauma, man, and certain traumas, they go past, they extend certain lifetimes. So it's evident that some of us that was back then during slavery, because typically you will see an Edomite, you see Jake, a lot of Jake, man. When Esau comes around, man, they getting that yes sir, massa ass spirit. They drop the shoulders, drop the head. Jake lowers their vibration. Jake turns it down. They turn the shoulders down, and whatever the case may be. And then, like I said, man, a lot of that trauma, man, it comes from past lifetimes. A lot of Jake's scared of water. A lot of Jake gets uncomfortable around a large body of water, man. And then more than likely, hey, you were one of those Jakes that was throwing off them ships. So with that being said, we're to a point now where, like I was saying, you walk down the street, man, you see Esau. And naturally, like I said, you would drop your head or whatever the case may be. But we're just to a point where, hey, we know who our power is, all right? And we're not seeking validation from anyone for that matter, all right? Especially when it comes to the so-called white man, all right? So you'll look at Edomite dead in his eye, and he's supposed to feel uncomfortable, all right? Or she's supposed to feel uncomfortable. That's why I always make a point. Don't get offended when you in the elevator, man, and She saw a little Sheetamite man. She's clenching her purse. She might switch her purse from one shoulder to the other shoulder, whatever the case may be. Whatever the case may be. Don't get offended because they're supposed to feel that vibration. They're supposed to feel that energy. All right. They're supposed to feel that spirit rising off of brothers, resonating off of brothers. They're supposed to feel that energy. It's supposed to make them feel uncomfortable. They're supposed to cross the street when you're walking down the street. They're supposed to go on the other side. They're supposed to move out your way or whatever, whatever the case may be. You see what's going on out here. All right. It's supposed to be like that, because with that being said, again, this world, man, they're not used to that, which is the spirit of Yahweh Shai. All right. They're not used to the spirit of Yahweh Shemal Shai. That's why an Israelite man is a number one threat to the society. And that's why, it's going to get to a point where Esau, he's going to have to eventually just come out to the elect, because 2/3, they're already gone. They're already given over. They're going to take that C-hip. Esau, he's not worried about them. So that's why it boils down to the elect. Like I said in 2nd Ezra 16, it's going to be made known who the men of the Lord are in that day. All right. When Esau makes his move, that left hand gets exalted. Or when that left hand makes the move, the right hand is going to get exalted. And that's going to come in the form of spiritual power. Brothers doing incredible, amazing things. All right. You see, so I'm going to grab this. And like I said, I was going to, these presets, man, I was going to bring out on the land back that I wanted to do off of Apostle Tahar's video. But for whatever reason, we're here now. So actually, I think that's 1 Samuel. And like I said, people, they see it now. They see it now. They can't connect the dots. They can't figure brothers out, because brothers are just on a higher frequency. And again, this thing of ours is only going to transfer, man. It's only going to go from glory to glory. So it's just a matter of just holding on a little longer, man. The Lord is going to turn his men up, turn that dial up. And like I said, even with 2/3, 2/3 is going to get turned up too. And of course, that energy is going to be directed in wickedness. All right. But the Lord's going to turn his men up in righteousness. So I want to get this. And bear with me. If I'm in the right spot. See, then 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel. I believe that's 1 Samuel. Bear with me real quick. So in 1 Samuel, yeah, 1 Samuel 10. Because like I said, you see it amongst brothers, the spirit gets on brothers. The brothers can tell, and of course, these people, they have no idea. They don't know anything about anything. So when the spirit gets on brothers, you get the comment, well, why are you so angry? Why are you yelling? Why are you so mad? Right? 1 Samuel 10 and it's a spirit, because as you can tell from the sound, a little under the weather. And it's been like that, and every week it's like it's another thing, whether it be bodily illness or whatever. But it be the spirit, because, come the weekend and it's time to get around brothers, man. And that spirit, that energy that's resonating off of brothers, man, we feel it, because, being around brothers, is like you get healed, because sure enough, Saturday, when it's all said and done, here comes Monday, right? And it's just like, we have the saying, every week, man, back to the bullshit, man. And sure enough, that's when the ailments come back and things of that nature, So it's the spirit of the Lord, man. Because again, being around brothers, being amongst brothers, man, you floating, man. You floating. Don't feel any type of bodily illness or anything. It's like if you're sick throughout the week, man, the shit goes away when you're around brothers, because of that energy, man, that spirit that's resonating off of brothers, and sure enough, when you're not around brothers, man, all the ailments, they come, it's like they come back and whatnot. Just go to show you, man, the sanctuary, man, the sanctuary of the brotherhood, man. But in 1 Samuel 10:6, and the spirit of the Lord came upon thee, and thou shalt prophesy with them, and shall be turned into another man. So you see, because brothers, again, are operating off of a different frequency, a higher frequency at that. And these people see it, they see it, they sense it, although they can't connect the dots. But they feel that energy, all right? They feel it, they feel that energy. You're a different person. And that's why, again, I say, because it's only going to go from glory to glory. It's only going to go from glory to glory. All right, being in the spirit, man, it's like you're a different person, like you're being in that trance, So, and of course, it's going to be frightening to these people, man. This is going to be frightening to these people. Of course, they feel what they don't know, what they don't understand. But like I said, being amongst brothers, you see brothers, man. Brothers being in the spirit, brothers know, he's in the spirit. He's in the spirit. You can tell. Versus these people, they don't know nothing. So, of course, they're going to react different. But being in the spirit is like, being a different person. You just let the spirit take over, man. It's Yahweh Bashim Shah working through you, using you. And that's why, on another note, man, like I mentioned, after camp and fellowship and things of that nature, a lot of times, because you're standing out there for hours, you see brothers start to do the concrete dance. But for the most part, you like I said, man, you amongst brothers, man, you're amongst that energy, that power. It's like you're floating. But the minute brothers stop doing the work, after camp or whatnot, it's as if you worked an 8-hour shift. That's when the soreness, brothers are sore. That's when the aches start to come back. Like I said, man, it's just a powerful thing when you're around brothers, being in the midst of brothers. You're floating. You don't really feel anything as far as bodily ailments and stuff like that. But after the work, and when it's time to depart and whatnot, that's when you get sore. Like you worked the 8-hour shift. You feel like you've been in the gym for an hour. That spirit wearing off. So hey, man, this thing of ours is it's spiritual. It's real powerful. This thing of ours that we're involved in, man. But this is the type of spirit energy that's coming back into the earth. All right, the power that's coming back into the earth. Like I said, the kingdom of heaven within itself is going to be a real masculine, real manly kingdom. All right, which is already taking place now, being that the kingdom of heaven is within us. All right. But it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of sitting back and being patient before the Lord really turns us up, to the next dial, turns us up a notch. Because that's all it's already in us. Like I said, that all that built-in frustration that brothers are walking around with, that, that tension is nothing but power building up, man. and the day is going to come. Hey, Yahweh Shema Shai is going to turn that dial up, and and like I said, hey, in that day, man, if you ain't right, just stay the fuck out of a man of the Lord's way. That's all I can say. So hopefully this is edifying. All praises to Yahweh Shema Shai. Shalom to you. Hopefully, like.